All right. I only have one light, and apparently we're just going to go with that. Welcome to a late surprise stream. We're going to read some news, we're going to do some things, and then we're going to call it a night. Before we do all of that, we're going to talk about a couple of things. Where did it go? Right there. First on the list is sponsored stuff. DUBBY, channel partner. Really yummy. Seriously, if you haven't tried the s'mores flavored yet, this is dangerously tasty, as I've said a number of times before. All of their drink mixes are zero sugar. They do energy drinks. They also do hydration drinks, which we've got right here. Sample pack of the hydration. Code generally nerdy. Oh, there's a thing too. Let's do the thing. Where is it? Wow. W.GG. Uh-oh. Oh. Technical issue since I just updated OBS. The move to sound does not work properly. I have to fix that apparently. My bad. But while I'm not talking, you can see code generally nerdy at checkout will get you 10% off at w.gg, so go check that out for sure. And then the other thing that is a sponsor is me. And this is the Nerd merch store. You can find it linked in the description. All kinds of wonderful things. The one I'm the most proud of, probably the Phantom Nerd music shirt, because I just dig that design a lot. Priced, as you can see here, not terrible. Also super thought this was funny, the confused millennial, but go check out the merch store, support the channel, and share with the world your nerd side. And I'm going to double check numbers and move into the news. So we're just going to start at the top and go through more casting announcements for Highlander. Not one of the big ones in the title, I know, but still something we've been keeping tabs on, so we will talk. We have Shaban Cullen, Jun Jong Seo, Nassim Lies, and Kevin McKidd all have joined the film. Hopefully we know who these people are. Really? We have to look this up? All right, fine. We'll look it up. Because I know those names. Let's go check them out. Vaguely recognize her. It's Shaban Cullen and then Jun Jong So. Oh, I think I know where I recognize her from. Let's see. The ballerina. Yeah, there you go. And then, what was the next one? Nassim Lies. From Under Paris, All Time High, Mayhem. I don't recognize him really at all. And then we have Kevin McKidd. That's one I probably will recognize. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Because he's in Grey's Anatomy. Okay, that's cool. He's gonna be another one of the Highlanders, I bet. So, in case you don't remember who else is in this, obviously Henry Cavill is going to be the lead as Connor McLeod, but we also have Russell Crowe, rather, going to play Ramirez, which was originally played by Sean Connery in the original series. Dave Bautista as Kurgan, Karen Gillan as Heather McLeod's wife. Excuse me. Marissa Abella is supposed to be an immortal warrior, a modern day romantic interest for McLeod. And Jeremy Irons is going to be the villain, the leader of the Watchers. Jaimon Hansu, another immortal warrior from Africa. Max Zhang and Drew McIntyre also confirmed. So that is the current cast as it sits. That's huge, by the by. So a lot of talk about Paramount right now because of their potential purchase of Netflix. Not the least of which their new ability to do the Star Trek stuff. Because of the recent merger. We have this update that comes from Variety, apparently, even though it's a la Cosmic Book News. We have Paramount isn't bringing back Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, or the rest of the crew from J.J. Abrams' Star Trek reboot. Variety reports the studio wants a fresh Star Trek movie and has moved on from the Kelvin cast. It means no Pine, Quinto, Urbane Bridge reunion and no continuation of the 2009 universe. Comes as Paramount is in transition and making franchise decisions tied to its future ownership. As it's been covered, which we're going to go over with the James Gunn DCU article, leadership wants recognizable IP with clear strategy. Star Trek is part of that plan, but the reboot crew appears to be done. The Kelvin trilogy had mixed financial results. 2009 movie opened big, but the box office dropped by beyond. Attempts to revive Pine and Quinto stalled for years, including the scrap time travel movie with Chris Hemsworth. So Paramount wants specifically clean reboot with a new or a brand new timeline, a new cast, modern franchise plan focused on theatrical, streaming, and global appeal. Mirrors moves across Hollywood, recast, reset, rebuild. Streaming spin-offs kept Star Trek alive, Strange New Worlds, Picard, Lower Decks, Discovery, etc. But Paramount wants a blockbuster film franchise again, not just shows on Paramount+. New film team and direction could align with broader changes if Paramount goes through with a sale or restructuring. It's been rumored that Paramount will be moving away from the Kurtzman Star Trek, especially considering Variety reports Paramount is headed in the, quote, right direction, unquote. Which is, we'll get into. The one of the big ones that is in the thumbnail for the episode is the Mummy 4 casting announcement includes Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are officially set to reunite for the Mummy 4, marking the long-awaited return of Rick O'Connell and Evelyn Carnahan O'Connell to Universal's fan favorite franchise. The trades confirm new movie is moving forward with directors Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, also known as Radio Silence. Update comes from THR. Mummy 4 is not a reboot, but a sequel and will ignore the events of the third film. Good. Fraser and Weisz last starred together in The Mummy Returns, which is the second one. New film puts them back in the center of the adventure. Major shift after the franchise stalled in 2008's Tomb of the Dragon Emperor and Universal's failed 2017 Mummy reboot starring Tom Cruise. Yes. Fans have been asking for a sequel for years, and Fraser has also openly supported the idea. We actually covered that. Last time we talked about this was him saying that something was in the works, so that's pretty cool. As long as the tone stayed true to the original films. He previously pointed out the Cruise version missed the fun that made the 1999-2001 entries hits. New directors Radio Silence. Universal tapped Bettinelli, Open, and Gillette, the duo behind Ready or Not and the recent Scream revival. They specialize in action horror with humor and energy, which lines up with Fraser's view of what The Mummy needs to be. Universal hasn't commented yet, but the move signals a return to the tone that made the franchise work. Pulpy adventure, humor, monsters, and a light supernatural touch instead of straight horror focus. Yeah, pretty much. You got hiccups. There's Jake's right there. Okay, so this is the other one. Right? Is that right? Whatever. The other one that I really want, that intrigued me when I was doing the ever so brief pre-show. We have James Gunn's DCU in jeopardy as Paramount signals major political shift to MAGA, which I really hate that they use the media in general, not just corporate media, but all media just uses MAGA the way they do, but whatever. New report by Variety on Paramount chief David Ellison confirms a major shift. Paramount wants, quote, America-centric, unquote, content aimed at the middle of the country. World of Real notes that the report even frames the future Paramount as potentially MAGA-friendly. Paramount is also positioned to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery. If that happens, and the new leadership wants patriotic traditional values content, James Gunn's DCU doesn't fit. Gunn has openly fought with conservatives on social media and built a divisive style. That's the opposite of what this new direction signals. Variety highlights Ellison moving the studio toward content for people who, quote, live outside coastal bubbles, unquote. UFC at the White House, patriotic action-driven franchise focus, and middle America priorities all align with right-leaning flag-forward tone. If Paramount buys Warner Brothers Discovery, as has been suggested, that tone would carry over to Warner and DC. In that environment, they won't want a DC leader known for clashing with conservatives and turning superhero stories into political commentary. That is very true. This is exactly what we've been talking about for a month now, ever since the sale of Warner Brothers got very serious. Gunn has a long history of arguing with conservative audiences online, which ended up with Gunn getting fired by Disney in 2018 over resurfaced tweets dealing with joking about bad things and worse things. But right now, the bigger problem is the tone in his DC work. Peacemaker Season 2 featured a storyline equating our world and a Nazi universe. Or Snazi, I suppose we're supposed to say. Also featured LGBTQ plus characters mocking Jesus. Fans pushed back, calling it divisive and insulting to anyone tired of political moral equivalence messaging. Peacemaker Season 2 ended up losing nearly 40% of its audience and has since been canceled. But, like, is that a fair way to phrase that? Because Gunn said before Season 2 aired that Season 2 was the final season. So is canceled the right word here? I don't think that is 100% accurate, but I don't know. Gunn's Superman also sparked debate about possible Israel-Palestine parallels, with Variety covering the controversy. That's not neutral storytelling. Creature Commandos featured similar themes, as will the upcoming Supergirl movie and the Lanterns TV series. Studio moving towards patriotic traditional themes isn't going to hand its flagship superhero to someone generating culture war backlash. Again, all true. Beyond politics, Gunn's DC rollout hasn't been strong enough to withstand a regime change. Superman reportedly underperformed financially, which this was the first place to talk about that. That is cosmicbook.news. Peacemaker Season 2 fell off the radar, again losing nearly 40% of its viewers. No new DCU projects officially moving forward other than those already announced. Gunn publicly admitted he may not stay after Man of Tomorrow, meaning the head of the studio doesn't even know his own future. When studios change leaders, they bring in talent that fits their vision. Look at Taylor Sheridan. He basically built Paramount Plus, left for NBC Universal, and still Ellison made sure he came back. Not to run TV there, but to write the Call of Duty movie. That's important. It shows Ellison still values Sheridan's middle America patriotic style, even after the split. The message is pretty clear. Creators who speak to that audience stay in the mix, one way or another. I mean, it's also Taylor Sheridan did incredible things for the numbers at Paramount Plus. Without his shows, like they said, he basically built the programming there. Continuing, Gunn is the opposite. He fights conservatives online, mocks that audience, and has leaned into political themes that alienate, quote, middle of the country, unquote, viewers. If Sheridan, someone whose brand already fits Ellison's vision, has limits on how he's used, then Gunn, who clashes with that audience, has no shot staying in charge of DC. True. DC is a legacy American brand. Superman is the most American superhero ever created. He's the American way, not Gunn's human way. If Paramount pushes an America-first content strategy, they will want DC aligned with that message. And that includes the comics. Gunn's tone is sarcastic, ideological, and often confrontational. It doesn't fit this new strategy and doesn't match the audience Paramount is signaling they want to serve. With Gunn's contract ending in 2026, which is a very short contract, it feels like, especially considering he is the co-CEO of the company, and his future already uncertain, the writing is clear. A Paramount-run Warner Brothers Discovery isn't going to keep Gunn in charge of DC. If Paramount buys Warner Brothers Discovery and shifts the studio middle America, James Gunn's DCU era ends. His output hasn't won over audiences. Yeah. We're just repeating ourselves now. This one's interesting, though it's rumor, so to take with that what you will. I think I saw Josh at the Den of Nerds posted something about this too. I haven't watched the video yet, though. Avengers Doomsday trailer rumors continue to build hype, offering a clearer picture of what Marvel may have planned. Though, keep in mind, Marvel has put things in trailers before that weren't actually in the movie, so we still won't absolutely know what they have planned once the trailer does drop. But during a recent live stream on YouTube, Kristen Harloff shared what he's heard about Avengers Doomsday trailer and story. As always, treat these as rumors, but they line up with other talk around the project. Harloff said Marvel has cut multiple versions of the Avengers Doomsday trailer. Executives are deciding on which one will play in front of Avatar Fire and Ash, which gets released on December 19th. Studio has done this before when testing tone, pacing, and crowd reactions, so nothing surprising here. When reported trailer cut features Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter and Chris Evans as Steve Rogers. I don't buy that at all. If they have, and this is a big if, but if they have Evans come back as Rogers, it will be a reveal in the movie, not in the trailer. They appear as civilians, not in superhero gear. That points to a more grounded emotional moment rather than action, which fits with the claim that a 1960s house belongs to the couple, which is a rumor we talked about a long time ago. Cyclops and the Summers family take center stage. Rumors continue that Wolverine won't be the main X-Men centerpiece here. Instead, Harloff claims Cyclops and the Summers family are getting a heavy push. That fits with talk that Marvel wants to introduce the X-Men in a big way and avoid leaning too heavily on Wolverine right out of the gate, which would be smart because, people do get tired of Wolverine from time to time. Even in the comics, they have to kill him off every now and then just so that people can get a breath of fresh air. Worth a mention is that Famke Janssen recently said she hasn't been contacted for a return as Jean Grey, though rumors still say that she will be back. Patrick Stewart's reported final role. According to Harloff, Avengers Doomsday will reportedly mark 85-year-old Patrick Stewart's final acting performance, both as Professor X and in general. If true, Marvel may be preparing a major emotional moment tied to Stewart and Charles Xavier, likely suggesting the character will not survive. Three Earths colliding and battle worlds. This movie has got to be like 3 hours long in order to cover all of this, but Harloff also claims the film features 3 universes colliding, leading to Battleworld. That lines up with long-standing speculation and other rumors that we've talked about on the channel previously. Long-standing speculation that Marvel's Secret Wars arc will follow the 2015 comics, where multiverse incursions created a patchwork world ruled by Doom. Again, previous rumors have covered this. Harloff said he knows additional details, but is holding them for now. If these points are accurate per previous reports about an MCU reboot, Marvel appears to be building towards its biggest crossover ever and positioning Avengers Doomsday as both a send-off and a launchpad for the next era, which, again, is something we've talked about ad nauseum at this point. Doomsday is still set for December 18th of next year. So, yeah. Next, we're not going to talk about that. This is the other one that is on the thumbnail, and that is The Witcher Season 4. Talking ratings here. We have, despite the hype, which they have it in quotes because that is not the word to use, but intrigue? Buzz? That's a fair one. Buzz. Despite the buzz around Liam Hemsworth stepping in as Geralt of Rivia, the show's performance for Season 4 on Netflix is off to a rough start. According to research from a firm, Samba TV, the premiere episode of Season 4 was watched by just 577,000 U.S. households, drop roughly 35% compared to the first episode of Season 3, which was 885,000 households. It makes it the weakest opening yet for the series and reflects a steep decline in interest. Duh. Season 4 is currently the lowest rated season of The Witcher across all platforms. Critic rating is 61%. Audience rating is 20%. IMDb, new episodes are hovering around a 4 and lower. Wow. Much of the backlash centers on the recast of Geralt, of course. While some viewers are willing to give Liam Hemsworth a shot, others say the series has lost its identity without Cavill as the lead. Series showrunner Lauren Schmidt-Hissrich recently addressed the growing criticism over the show's direction and recasting. Quote, "No one's taking the books away. No one's taking the video games away. Everyone can have their vision of The Witcher," which is usually what they say when they're about to be done. Because you're not giving the fans, the fan base. The reason this got greenlit to begin with is because of its enormous installed fan base, and you're not giving that fan base what it wants. You're doing your own thing. Even my dad, and I probably won't watch Season 4, but even my dad, who is not very nerdy inherently, but he watched the first 3 seasons of The Witcher, watched Season 4, and was underwhelmed, let's just say. And he's retired, so he doesn't really have a whole lot to do with his day to begin with. But the comment has sparked further backlash, with some fans saying it felt dismissive, as if the showrunner was telling them to go read the books or play the games instead of watching the show. Essentially, if you don't like it, don't watch. And we won't. And then you'll blame us for that. So it's a no-win situation. Yeah, don't care. Harbor hit with harassment allegations. Right after those rumors of tension on the Avengers Doomsday set involving Thunderbolts actors, new reporting now puts David Harbour back in the spotlight. Oh boy. Stranger Things 5 about to debut, and Harbor's personal life under scrutiny due to his recent split from his estranged wife, Lily Allen. I did not know that he was married to Lily Allen. If it's the same pop singer, for sure. I had no idea. Yeah? Wow, that's crazy. Actor is now facing claims that he bullied and harassed Millie Bobby Brown during production of the final season. Highly doubt that, considering the diva that Millie Bobby Brown has become. Allegations. According to Daily Mail, Brown filed a formal harassment and bullying complaint against Harbor before filming even began. Quote, Millie Bobby Brown filed a harassment and bullying claim before they started shooting the last season. There were pages and pages of accusations. The investigation went on for months. Report says Netflix conducted an internal inquiry though no outcome has been made public. The outlet notes the allegations did not involve behaving badly below the waist. Harbor allegedly continued filming while represented by his team, and Brown reportedly had her own rep on set throughout the shoot. These accusations surface as Harbor faces separate headlines. All right, so maybe if she filed them before they filmed, maybe they were complaints from previous seasons that came to a head somehow. Like that, the timeline just doesn't make sense here. And also, if it was on set for the season 5, like if they have their timeline screwed up and it wasn't before the filming started, or even if it was during pre-production when they were getting everybody together for table reads, etc., it makes it less believable because, again, she's kind of always surrounded by people at this point. She's the diva is kind of the only word you can really use to describe the behavior that she is reportedly conducted, that she is reportedly taken part in on set for other projects. And like she's all about spotlight and being an adult now. So like it's just very hard to believe if it was season 5. If it was previous to season 5, that's slightly easier to believe, and they just somehow came to a head and she decided to file the complaint before filming. That I can kind of understand a little bit more. Continuing on, where the hell did we leave off? Harbor allegedly continued filming while blah, 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 blah. These accusations surface as Harbor faces separate headlines about cheating allegations tied to his breakup with Lily Allen. Her new album includes songs referencing alleged infidelity during their marriage. Netflix declined comment, but sources told the outlets the streamer didn't deny the investigation and has remained focused on the Stranger Things finale rollout. Despite the drama, Netflix expects Stranger Things 5 to be a massive success because it's Stranger freaking Things. Planning a 2-part release starting November 26th. Yeah, we've gone over all of this. What about Avengers Doomsday? Back in August, it was rumored that an on-set altercation happened between Wyatt Russell, American agent, who plays U.S. agent, John Walker, U.S. agent, and David Harbour, who plays Red Guardian. The situation reportedly happened during filming for a Thunderbolts segment of the movie. The incident is described as a shouting match that escalated into a shove. The source claims it started after Russell complained about a part of his role being cut, and Harbour made a remark that Russell didn't appreciate. Oh, aren't we all just grown children? Toho reveals Godzilla -1 follow-up. Ooh. Godzilla 0. Next chapter of Godzilla is here. Toho has announced its follow-up to Godzilla -1, revealing the new movie is titled Godzilla -0, stylized as Godzilla -0.0, during Godzilla Day in Tokyo, which I don't remember what day is Godzilla Day. How sad is that? Whatever. We'll continue reading. Director and VFX. It was yesterday. Did you tell me that? Oh, I don't. Okay. I just don't remember it. So yeah, it was the 3rd of November. So yesterday, as we're filming and streaming. Director and VFX creator Takahashi Yamazaki returns after delivering the first Oscar-winning film in the franchise's 70-year history, which totally worth it. That if you haven't seen Godzilla Minus One, then you really, really should. It's incredibly good. Go figure. The Japanese understand the Japanese character better than the Americans do. Weird. Toho made the announcement during its annual celebration event, dropping a teaser logo and artwork featuring stark black and white brush strokes similar to Minus One. Yamazaki even co-designed the emblem, signaling creative continuity and a similar grounded aesthetic. While plot details are secret, it's reported the film is planned for late 2026 global release. Production is expected to begin later this year, including shoots in New Zealand and Norway. The heck? Yamazaki returns again. Yamazaki again writes, directs, and oversees VFX, teamed with Shirogumi and Robot. I don't know what that is. Same crew behind Minus One, so there's that. Godzilla Minus One was a phenomenon, no kidding. Filmed for $15 million, grossed $113 million worldwide, became the highest-grossing Japanese live-action film in U.S. history. Oh, it's about work in the morning. Won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, beating Hollywood blockbusters with budgets 10 times. Yeah, no kidding, because it was that good. The movie also marked the first Oscar win for Godzilla in history and cemented the franchise in prestige territory for a new generation of fans. Toho calls the next entry in the Minus Saga calls this the next entry in the Minus Saga. Sorry, missed a word. Title suggests it works more like a countdown, the thematic march toward zero, or ground zero scale destruction, rather than a numerical sequel label. No cast has been confirmed, and the story remains under wraps, as we already said. So now we are repeating ourselves once again. Zack Snyder keeps leaking out very slowly old pictures from previous productions. Netflix explores bid. Oh, here we go. Netflix explores bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. Snyderverse fans on alert, because there are still a rabid, crazy high number of them. D says my birthday present is in the office. Netflix is exploring a bid for Warner Bros. Discovery, and DC fans are buzzing again, especially Snyder fans, because why wouldn't they? They just hold out hope beyond all hope. According to Reuters, the streamer has hired the same advisory firm that handled the Paramount Skydance deal and has been granted access to financial data as part of evaluating a possible offer. That means Netflix is seriously looking at Warner Brothers Studios and streaming assets, and that includes DC. That also includes Mortal Kombat, which makes me slightly sad, because Netflix just likes to cancel stuff. Snyderverse energy is surging again. No, it's not. Like, yes, there are still some rabid Snyder fans, but I feel like they're dwindling at this point in number. Timing couldn't be more interesting. Zack Snyder has spent the last few weeks dropping behind-the-scenes images of Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman, Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke, and now we got a Joker one in the article before this. It's been one nostalgic hit after another, and fans have taken notice. We've been told for months that, quote, everyone, unquote, has moved on from the Snyderverse, including Snyder himself, and that Zack would only come back to to do the Dark Knight Returns someday. Yes, we've covered this ad nauseum, but now, with Snyder suddenly teasing his DC era again, at the exact moment Netflix is exploring Warner Brothers Discovery, fans are starting to wonder if he knows something the rest of us don't. No, he doesn't. Snyder has spent the last few years at Netflix building major projects and a working relationship with the company, even though his major projects have failed. He has squandered that relationship. Notice that there has not been much else in that world for Rebel Moon. If Netflix were to end up with DC, Snyder would already be right there inside the building at the exact moment the DC universe enters a new era. Nobody is saying Snyderverse is suddenly happening again, and again we've been told that everyone has moved on, but the timing is impossible to ignore. At minimum, Netflix acquiring DC would blast open the creative doors. At maximum, a world where Snyder directs Dark Knight Returns with aging versions of Batman and Superman isn't impossible. That's kind of a cool picture of Manganiello as Deathstroke. I dig it. This would be yet another example, though, of James Gunn very likely being fired from his post. The article continues. The industry is shifting fast. Warner Bros. Discovery is on the block. Netflix is circling. Snyder is posting DC images again. Fans are sensing momentum. Maybe it's just nostalgic, or maybe Snyder's photos are a hint that he's positioning for something bigger. Either way, DC feels electric again. They don't even mention... Oh, regarding James Gunn's DCU... We've been told whoever ends up buying Warner Bros. Discovery will restart the universe, potentially under Mike DeLuca. His original plan was to continue the Snyderverse after The Flash. Ugh. That can't be good. That just can't be a good idea. Oh, even Comcast is throwing their hat in the ring for this one. Which, yeah, I think I do remember talking about that previously, but that was totally rumor. But now we have some sort of confirmation? Nope, this is just more rumor. Comcast official. How is it official? Show me your. Oh, THR. Okay. If it's in THR, it must be official. Continuing. Comcast officially eyeing Warner Bros. Discovery. Speaking to Wall Street and analysts on Thursday, Comcast co-CEO Mike Cavanaugh confirmed the company is looking at studio and streaming acquisitions, and WB fits the bill. He said the upcoming Versant spinoff, which separates Comcast cable networks from NBC, Peacock, and Universal Studios, gives the company flexibility for a deal. Kavanaugh suggested regulatory concerns are overblown, hinting Comcast is more open to acquisitions than people think. So for those of you playing the home game, if you're trying to keep track, we have Comcast is the newest, but we have Netflix is the second newest, the other one, and then the big one here is Paramount. Paramount are the ones that have actively made at least 2 bids already. So this is going to get interesting. Via THR, Kavanaugh specifically named studio assets and streaming assets as areas of interest. That lines up perfectly with Zaslav's plan to split Warner Bros. Discovery in 2026. One company for Warner Bros. And HBO Max, including DC and NetherRealm. Another for Discovery Global, the cable networks, which was also first reported here as rumor on this site, which we talked about on the channel. This puts Comcast squarely in the race alongside Paramount. Skydance, which just had its 3rd bid. There we go, 3 bids now from Paramount. And Netflix, which downplayed interest but hasn't ruled out post-split move. Comcast owns Universal Pictures, Universal Studios, and more. WB Discovery stock has surged to over $20 per share, giving CEO David Zaslav the upper hand. He's not selling cheap. And now that multiple parties are circling, including Comcast, the bidding war is just getting started. Yes, that is very, very interesting. Oh, and so Welcome to Derry is out now as well. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I mean, it's not terrible. It's apparently getting good ratings, so we'll read the article, because you actually don't get any Bill Skarsgård in the first 2 episodes. We don't see Pennywise at all. You see references to Pennywise, but not Pennywise himself, which I kind of thought there was going to be something akin to like the Haunting of Hill House and all that, where the things are like in the background but never acknowledged. I thought maybe we'd get something, because if you watch the intro to the episodes, the actual intro sequence, like you get a little bit of that in the intro sequence. You see Pennywise as an illustration, but you don't see him in the actual show. So I thought that was really interesting. But Welcome to Dairy fans, get a treat this Halloween. Episode 2 of the horror prequel hits HBO Max. Yeah, like I said, it's already out. HBO will also air the episode on Sunday, November 2nd. The 8-episode season continues Sundays on HBO and HBO Max through the finale on December 14th. Weekly broadcast slot remains Sunday nights on HBO. First episode scored 5.7 million U.S. viewers. That's pretty big numbers in 2025. First 3 days across HBO and HBO Max. Warner Bros. Discovery reports the prequel ranks among the top 3 series debuts in Max history, trailing only House of the Dragon and The Last of Us, which is pretty prestigious company to be in. I think it's a little underwhelming, though. Like, not the numbers. The numbers are impressive, but the show itself, I feel like we're going to see a pretty dramatic drop-off round about episode 4. I think people are still looking for it to be something that it might not be. So episode 3 is going to play well still, but I think by episode 4 we're going to start to see the disinterest set in. Welcome to Dairy builds on Stephen King, blah blah blah. Yeah. This is all things we've covered already multiple times. And then this is the other kind of big one, is Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg join Call of Duty movie. Paramount tapped Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg to develop and produce the live-action Call of Duty movie. We knew this was happening, but we didn't know anyone who was attached to it just yet, and now we do. Marking a major step forward for the franchise, the franchise has moved to the big screen. Sheridan and Berg will co-write, and Berg will direct. Both will produce alongside David Glasser. Sheridan and Berg bringing strong military storytelling backgrounds to Call of Duty. Sheridan created Yellowstone and Lioness, we know this, and wrote films like Hell or High Water and Wind River. Excuse me. Berg directed Lone Survivor and recently wrapped Mosquito Bowl. The pair have been friends for years and earned critical praise together with Hell or High Water, which earned 4 Oscar nods. Their track record matches the grounded combat and tactical intensity fans connect to Call of Duty. Yes, that sounds very intriguing. Like, just Taylor Sheridan's name attached to this alone would be enough, I think, for a lot of people. Call of Duty remains one of the most successful video game franchises in history. Yes. Sheridan Berg's current slate. Recent credits include Painkiller and American Primeval. Also produced Friday Night Lights content and leads commercial work through his film 47 Banner. Sheridan is in the middle of a major career shift, signing a long-term NBC Universal deal. His Paramount shows include Yellowstone, Mayor of Kingstown, Tulsa, 1883, 1923, and Landman. Landman is still in production, or is still airing. Season 2 arrives this month. Also has films and series in production, including Fast, set for 2027. Interesting. So we are going to check one more source and then probably be done. Let's do by category. That's not an inaccurate headline. We're not gonna read the article though. It gives us that's an opinion piece. But upcoming Batman Nightfall animated film further proves Warner Brothers is fresh out of ideas. Not inaccurate. Supergirl star Millie Alcock pledges not to work with Israeli film institutions that are implicated in genocide. Oh boy. We have talking movies to watch for Halloween. Guillermo del Toro would rather die than stoop to using generative AI. More opinion stuff. Interesting. Bounding into Halloween. Roofman review. Goodness, it's been a slow month. That is for sure. That's a slow week, I guess I should say. Because all of this stuff is from the beginning of last week. All right, what do they got here for us? I think we... Yeah, that dropped on the day. Yep. We talked about that. Yeah. Not a whole lot going on this week. Let's see if we can find some good rumor stuff. Let's check out Murphy's Multiverse. Okay, I think whatever the heck that was, we just sorted it out a little bit. All right, and now the music is working again. Cool. That was weird. Stats, everything is still doing fine. We've dropped a whole 7 frames throughout the course of this entire recording, so that's good. Sure, I accept your cookies. Yeah, this comes from today. Good, because sometimes Murphy's they do more on X than they do in their actual website. But we have rumor on some details for the next Avengers movie, Doomsday. Principal photography in Avengers Doomsday having wrapped, and additional photography not expected to get underway until early 2026. Directors Anthony and Joe Russo have had time to get the post-production process started, pulling the movie together out of the hours and hours of footage. On top of that, rumors persist that the directing duo is helping to prepare a trailer for the film. Expectations of it running ahead of Avatar, Fire and Ash. Yeah, we kind of already covered that. Without another Marvel flick in theaters until Spider-Man next July, the studio will want to make sure the first look at Avengers Doomsday will be a splash. This might just be repeating the information we already have. Yes, this is just repeating the information we already have. Great fun. Namor's powerful presence in Doomsday. Here's another rumor from 2 days ago. Tenoch Huerta Mejia, who played Namor, stands as one of Marvel Studios' most wonderfully constructed antagonists, with his performance in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever leaving fans wanting more, though Characters from the world of Wakanda were expected to play key roles in Avengers Doomsday. Huerta Mejias. That is a hell of a name to try and say without really fully understanding how it's pronounced. His name stood out among those revealed to be part of the cast in 2026 film, with the Russo brothers directing. Kukalan's return. Oh, it's his Aztec name or whatever. Should be expected to make a splash, and it sounds as though it will. VFX artist turned social media scooper James Mack, who has accurately reported on some details about Avengers Doomsday, took to X to share details about the massive and VFX-heavy battle featuring Namor, and it sounds as though the Emperor of the Deep will unleash the full extent of his powers next year. According to The Scoop, Namor accompanied his Talokanil army, and a giant octopus will unleash a massive tsunami on unknown opposing force in Avengers Doomsday. The tweets read, in some previs and 3D Tech Viz, Previs and 3D Tech Viz tests for Avengers Doomsday, Namor was shown in battle with a massive tsunami, seemingly the one causing it. There was also a giant octopus and his Talokan army as part of the concept. The female warrior in his army is titled Andromeda. There's also a very muscular warrior in the army with fins who looked like Orca, but I'm not sure. After sharing the original scoop, Mac returned to X to share an image of the giant tidal wave known as the Ultimate Wave as it wiped out Manhattan. Of course, in Marvel Comics continuity, Magneto, not Namor, caused the Ultimate Wave. However, that won't stop Marvel Studios from showing off just how powerful Namor can be in Avengers Doomsday. Mac's scoop names two new Talokanil soldiers, Andromeda and Orca. Given the legions of soldiers in Namor's army, names aren't dished out to all of them. In fact, only Atuma and Namora were named in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, with those two characters expected to return. Perhaps is reasonable to assume Andromeda and Orca might have similar-sized roles. Neither have particularly exciting histories in the pages of Marvel Comics, with Andromeda canonically the daughter of Atuma and Orca typically a blunt instrument. It's impossible that the two are part of an MCU iteration of the Defenders of the Deep. It is possible, rather. Namor's hand-picked strike force. The trailer for the film, rumored to be headed to the theaters in December, this rumor seems relatively believable. Yeah, sure. Why wouldn't they? If they have names and they're noteworthy and it's fan service, then Marvel's going to do the thing and service the fans. And then we're into old rumors. Wait a minute. When did this one drop? Oh, maybe it's not old. Rogue Squadron rumor. During Disney's 2020 Investor Day presentation, Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy announced that Patty Jenkins had signed on to direct Rogue Squadron. At the time, the film was slated for Christmas 2023 release, but following a production delay in 2021, the film was removed from Lucasfilm's slate in September of 2022. Leading fans to believe the film had been canceled. In early 2023, trade reports confirmed that the project was dead in the waters of Dagobah. But somehow, Rogue Squadron returned. According to social media scooper My Time to Shine Hello, which definitely is a place that a lot of people get rumors from, Lucasfilm has provided new hope for Rogue Squadron, choosing to redevelop the long-delayed project as a streaming series for Disney+. While this isn't the dead project fans are currently wishing will come together, that honor goes to The Hunt for Ben Solo. The project has always sounded relatively exciting. Disney Plus might be the perfect place for it. Set to introduce a new generation of starfighter pilots as they earn their wings and risk their lives in boundary-pushing, high-speed thrill ride and move the saga into the future era of the galaxy. Rogue Squadron is believed to be set after the sequels and could serve as a companion piece to Star Wars Starfighter. That would be a great way to do it. So I kind of hope this is legit, because that would be a really great way to do Rogue Squadron. With the New Republic Mandoverse projects nearing their narrative conclusion in the not-too-distant future, Lucasfilm is certainly looking for its next batch of stories, and Rogue Squadron could have survived uncertainty and become part of the future. I can get behind that idea. Maybe not the Patty Jenkins part, because she still very much will not be part of it from the sounds of this, but that could be a really, really cool way to not only do Rogue Squadron, but to like set things up that play off of each other in the streaming and movie spheres. So, interesting. I think... Oh. Yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah, that's that might just be where we kill it today, nerds. I know it was a late stream. We got a couple of things done. We kept the news alive. As far as things moving forward, it's going to be kind of touch and go throughout this off season. I have new software to learn because I am getting out of the Adobe ecosystem. So that's going to take up a lot of time. So very likely next season will look very similar to this season, just because the learning curve on like DaVinci Resolve and stuff is going to, I fear, be a little bit steeper than anticipated. But there will be another season. As things develop, there are other things going on behind the scenes that I really can't talk about until we're much, much closer to them. But those could be very much disruptive as well. So as that happens, I will definitely keep you posted. Thank you for everyone. This was so late that we didn't have a chat to speak of. So thank you for everyone who's watching in post. And let me know if there is something I missed or something you want me to dive into before we start the next episode, which, again, touch and go during this off season. Whether or not we actually get each episode each week, I will try and do something. But as far as the news goes, that's going to be the biggest touch and go pieces. So at the very least, we will do some like reaction content or something. But yeah, I appreciate your faces, nerds. Thank you very much for joining. We are going to be ending it here, so tune in next time. Before we go, always remember that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.